So tear down thread. So what is the tear down? Tear down, right? So as part of setup, we have created some set of users. So those users I have to delete after my testing is completed. If I don't delete, it will be less waste of memory and so on, right? So in the same way, clean up the system. Okay, deleting unwanted data or send an email again just to notify that test has been completed executing. Okay, or to collect some Jmeter test reports. So this is like, these are the things we can do after testing. So before testing do something, after testing do something else, right? So after testing we can achieve it with the help of tear down thread group, right? So what I will do is I'll just go here again. I'll go to threads, tear down thread group. In the same way, like however I have done in this sampler, I'm just copying it and putting it under this. So what I'll do is I'll just tell that I am in tear down thread group. That's it. Save it. Okay. So click on, yeah, clear, and we have one thread group, right? Yeah. So save and click on run. Yeah. Once I click on run, I can see this particular message, okay, in the logs over here. Right? So let it run. Yeah, you can see I am in setup thread group, right? So this message that we can see, that means before executing the test, before executing the thread group, it has executed whatever the logic we have written over here. Okay, and it executed some threads, and after threads, again we can see some message as I am in tear down thread. So let's see where it is. Yeah, let me pull it up. Yeah, I can see I am in tear down, right? So that means before testing do something, after testing do something else. So as of now, to write some complex logics, whatever mentioned use cases over here, it's difficult because we are still early stages of the understanding of Jmeter and the coding part. So we will do this one of the scenario later. But as of now, with simple log message, we are trying to understand what is the purpose of setup thread group and what is the purpose of tear down thread group. Okay. Yes. Now let's discuss more about the thread group, right? So what is thread group, right? So let me click on thread. So it contains multiple configuration elements. Let's try to understand one. Right, so Jmeter thread group, what does this will do? It will try to simulate some number of users, how many number of users we want, right? So what is the purpose? So why should we use a Jmeter kind of tool? Can't we do it manually? Yes, we can do it. Let's say if I wanted to test with 100 people, yes, I need 100 manual resources to hit the application at the same time. So can I recruit all 100 manual resources just for performance testing? No, I may have to pay them a lot, right? Because of that, we are trying to use the tools, automated tools like Jmeter or some other tools, right? So what does this Jmeter do, right? So Jmeter internally, we are taking thread group. So what does this thread group will do? It will create users here, like as mentioned in this diagram. It will create an user is nothing but a thread. Every thread represents a single user. Okay, user 1 sends a request 1, user 2 sends request 2. In the same way, 100 users in this diagram shows 100 requests will be sent to the server, and server responds to all 100 requests, right? So we are trying to simulate the performance or load scenario, right, through the tool called Jmeter. So in Jmeter, thread group is the one what is going to, I mean, that is what the purpose of thread group, right? So in the same way, let's try to understand what other config elements we have in this thread group, right? So here we can see in the diagram, right? So what are the different options we have in the thread group, right? So the name of the group. So in the top right, we can see thread group configuration elements. Okay, name. If you want to change, you can change it, right? So maybe we will try to write our customized names whenever we try to create some project of our own. Okay, so as of now, I have given some sample name called the thread group 3. Okay, so we have some comments. So like, however, we have a comments input for every element in Jmeter, like test plan or thread group or HTTP request. So that is default everywhere we have. Okay, so we have comments. Yes, we can go ahead and change the comments if required, right? So let me show you. Yeah, this is the thread group. So we can change the name of the thread groups as we have done just before. I have named one of the thread group as thread group 1 and another thread group as thread group 2. Right? So in the same way, it's up to us like how to change the name of the thread groups. Right? If you want comments, we can write, or it's not required. Right? So this comments is just for readability, right? So whenever we do our coding, right? So in Java or .NET or PHP or whatever the language is. So whenever we develop some method, we will write one liner comment just to explain what is the purpose of that particular method. In the same way, if somebody new, some new resource looks at this thread group, they should understand what is the purpose of this thread group or what is the purpose of this element they have added. So that's the main purpose of it. Okay, that's about it. And next one is action to be taken after a sampler error. So yeah, what does this mean? If any request fails, whether do we need to stop the complete thread group or complete thread, or continue, or stop the test immediately, or something like that. So we have different set of options, but mostly we will try to continue. If any request fails, we may proceed with the other requests also. It's up to us, like how do we design the tests. Okay, and next one is number of threads, right? So number of threads. So like, yeah, as in previous diagram says, here in this scenario, we are trying to hit the server with 100 users. That means 100 threads we have to create. In the same way, our thread group, in thread group, we have to configure that with how many number of users or threads we have to, Jmeter has to create and send the request. So that will define the number of threads configuration in this particular Jmeter. See, as of now, I have given one thread only. That means with single user only, I have to hit the server. Right. If I want, I can change it. Right. Let's say, let me make this, 2. That means 2 threads will be created and 2 threads will hit the server at the same time. Right. That is the purpose. Okay.